Hey, what's up guys, Steven here and welcome back to another video, and today we have here a car comparison. As you might know, I'm driving a Model 3 long range 2020 since around about 1 year, so as soon as it was available in Austria. And today I have the amazing opportunity to also check out the new Model 3 Performance with the facelift. So big thanks to Tesla Motors for borrowing me the car here for the video. So today I will not only show you the differences between the long range and the performance model, but I'll also show you some of the differences between the pre-facelift version and the really amazing looking facelift version.
The new Tesla Model 3 2021 is here, and perhaps the biggest difference is the additional driving range, made possible by a combination of new battery cells, the addition of a heat pump system, and Tesla's non-stop efforts to increase the overall efficiency in its vehicles. But let's start with how the new car looks. There are some minor changes to the external appearance of the Model 3 compared to the original. A popular modification to the original Model 3 has been a chrome delete, which covers up the chrome trim with black vinyl. I did this by wrapping my door handles on my Model 3, but now Tesla is doing the chrome delete out of the factory. So all the trim around the windows and the camera covers just behind the front wheels are black rather than shiny chrome. You may or may not have disliked the chrome trim, but my personal opinion is that it just looks better. The new 20-inch turbine wheels on the Model 3 replaced the previous 20-inch rims on the Model 3 Performance. My Model 3 long range as well as the new ones come by default with 18-inch wheels with aero caps. I've removed them on my model just for the looks, but it also helps a little bit with the efficiency. The performance model has also the upgraded brakes with the amazing looking red brakes, which is really an eye-catcher. A less obvious change is the inclusion of double glazed windows. It's nearly impossible to tell they are there just by looking. This is not a cosmetic change, but intended to reduce exterior noise and improve insulation, which will also benefit climate control power consumption, for instance if it's cold out and you're trying to keep warm. Regarding the noise level, I didn't feel a huge difference at all compared to my Model 3 long range from 2020. The biggest change you can't see as well is the heat pump. The easiest way to understand what a heat pump does would be to imagine a fridge working in reverse. This is a much more efficient way of providing heat than using wire-based heating systems, because heat is being transferred rather than generated. For electric vehicles, heat pumps address one of the biggest criticisms, that EV range drops in cold weather due to the electricity consumed by the heaters. With heat pumps being up to 3 times more efficient than regular element heaters, the energy saving in the cold weather is definitely worth it. The only downside for the Model 3 is that the frunk, so the front trunk, is a little bit smaller, because that's where the heat pump has been installed. Talking about the trunk is also different. There's a new automatic opening and closing trunk system, and it's very smooth and quiet. The Model 3 has also a height memory setting that allows the user to set a limit on how high the trunk will open, saving you from dinging the trunk lid onto an overhead obstruction where you park. That's a nice new feature indeed, and most certainly an improvement. The positive end result of the heat pump, the battery, alongside further efficiency improvements, is greater range across all Model 3 variants. I felt it was quite similar to my Model 3 long range, even though it's a performance model. Additional 21 km on the long range model and additional 37 km on the performance due to the 82 kWh Panasonic battery in the performance I drove. So the new performance model felt really like the same range as my older 2020 long range, which is pretty amazing. But to be really honest with you guys, I never had any fear of range when driving a Tesla, because the supercharger network in Europe is amazing and there's always an opportunity to charge. Aside from the outside, also the inside changed. The interior has lost the shiny black plastic surfaces on the central console, as well as some of the silver trim. It has gained some classy stitching, but most importantly the wireless phone charger, which was a plug-in addition to the previous Model 3 under flap, but now it's fully integrated and has a tray for 2 phones. But also you do lose the space underneath. But you don't have to buy any aftermarket accessories for the USB ports like my wireless charger, which I bought for my Model 3 long range. There are also Type-C ports everywhere and a new USB port in the glove box for connecting a hard drive, for instance, or other things. Also, there is now wooden parts in the doors, and overall the whole new interior looks more premium and finished, at least for my taste. I'm a bit sad that I bought my Model 3 that early, but hey, never look back, and I had really a good time with the car and I still love it. Also new is the Boombox feature, which makes use of the integrated speaker to play music outside or change the honk sound. But this only works in park mode in Europe, and unfortunately you cannot change the honk here. But still, it's a really cool feature to show to people or to just play music on the parking lot. The Model 3 Performance I drove had a full autopilot package. I mean, we talked about that quite often already. That means automatic parking and navigate on autopilot. But to be really honest with you guys, it's not worth for me to upgrade because it's kinda expensive and the features in Europe are kinda limited right now. Maybe in the future, if regulations will keep up, it could be worth it though. But what about charging? Charging the Model 3 is simply amazing at superchargers. In around 30 minutes, it could be more or less, you make it from 20 to 80%, so perfect for a stop in the shopping center or just to grab a coffee. I personally mostly charge my car at home with the Tesla Wallbox, but here you need to keep in mind that the Model 3 tops out at 11 kilowatts of power input, and then it takes around 6 hours to achieve the 80%, which is perfect to charge it overnight to have a full car for the next days. For trips, however, I mostly rely on superchargers. We made a trip to a castle in Slovakia and also to Hungary to a lake, which was around 400-500 kilometers, and I had no problem with a quick charging stop at the supercharger. Tesla has an amazing supercharger network that makes trips easily possible, and I'm really not scared about running out of electricity. If you don't want a wallbox at home, Tesla includes also many accessories like a normal power outlet charger and a cable for public chargers, so that's also an option and I use it mostly as in backup options. But now let's come to the question, is the performance worth it over the long range? Well, as there is not really the biggest difference in the range, it really comes down to personal preference and price. The performance, to be honest, is a beast. It's crazy fast, has drift and track mode, which by the way I've never used, but it's really cool to have. It looks sportier with the huge wheels, carbon spoiler and the brakes, but when driving it, it felt not much different to my long range in terms of handling, but the acceleration is very noticeable. So if you want to have the fastest Model 3, then go with the performance. If you want to save some money like me but still get good performance that comes kinda close, go with the long range. Overall, the Tesla Model 3 really makes my life much more relaxed. I don't need to worry about any service, oil changes, leaks or whatever. Just a bit worries about not forgetting to charge, but you get used to that quite fast.
Alright guys, so we're now here at the end of this comparison, so I hope you now know the differences. Now of course everyone is talking about how fast those cars accelerate, but to be honest, after driving the performance model, it's really crazy, but I'm super happy with my long range. It's a little bit slower, but it's still more than enough. But the final question is actually, would you buy a Model 3 performance or long range if you could buy one now again? To be honest, I would probably go for the performance, also because I really like the drift mode and the racing mode where you can really control where you want to have the power, if you want to have the power in the front or the back. Now for sure it's something you wouldn't use on a daily basis, but it's really cool to play around. I also really like the Boombox. I'm a little bit sad that I don't have the Boombox on my model, but the benefit of that is that I don't have this annoying sound when reversing. So you have seen the differences between the facelift version and the non-facelift version, and it really comes down to personal preference. For sure, there are improvements, as you've seen in the video, but most of the design things, you need to like it or not like it. Now, let me know what you think about the facelift down below in the comments. I'm really excited to hear your opinion about that. And as always, guys, if you like this video, please like it, write a comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a nice day and bye.